item number 5 on the department items. County Executive Office again. Oh, wait, just keep your light on.
Daniel gave me the 5-minute warning. No. So good afternoon, Chair Jones, members of the board, Stephanie Holloway. One more time for you today. I have this keyed up in my notes to say good morning to you. So
I know.
good afternoon, and I'm happy to close out your meeting in Tahoe this afternoon. And really, I think the intent of this item, obviously no action, it's just a presentation, but continued commitment to your board to educate and really elevate the important work that the Placer team collectively is doing in the region. So I'm going to run through a number of different projects, but really want to emphasize how all of these projects, how all of the initiatives that we're working on fit within your priorities, your board's priorities. We call those critical success factors. But just to jump back for a second, in June of 2022, I gave you a presentation on really the matrix of partners, our agencies and community organizations. Some of those you've heard from today, so obviously there's a sort of a playing out of those partnerships in our region on a continual basis. In October of that year, we did talk about projects and priorities, really trying to elevate the importance of making sure we're focused on the right tasks, right? In May of 2023, I was joined by Julie Reagan with the Tahoe Regional Planning Agency, if you remember. Julie and I gave a co-presentation. We brought forward a number of really kind of key data indicators for our region. Some of that you've actually already heard about today. You've heard about the great work of the Destination Stewardship Council and the work that NTCA is working on tracking some of those data indicators moving forward. So a lot of conversation around at that meeting around community vitality and data. Julie and I did also elevate really the importance of leveraging our private-public partnerships, really looking to achieve some environmental benefit from some of these projects. That is really the focus of a lot of, most of what we do in the region is really focused on environmental stewardship. So our teams at the county working forward on a number of these different initiatives, and I will just sort of summarize and underscore that a lot of these initiatives are not only stewardship, they're also somewhat of a mitigation strategy for some of the visitation that we see. So all along the lines of achieving what we like to call balance in the region. So I will elevate your strategic plan. Your board did adopt this strategic plan, which really provides as a foundation for us. Everything we do in the region is sort of, bounced off of that foundation to make sure that we are aligning with your desires and your goals. 8 strategic initiatives called critical success factors. So I'm going to roll through those today and really try to provide you with linkages to your success factors, to how we define success in the region from your board. And so we'll talk a little bit about what those priorities look like. So critical success factor number 1 here. And I love that this is number 1 because it seems sort of at the front of everything we do. And this is strategic relationships and community engagement. This is transparency, collaboration, epic collaboration, Uber collaboration in the region, to your point, Supervisor Holmes. I will mention there has been some investment that we've made in the CEO's office recently around community engagement. I think Lindsay Romack is still here. Lindsay was elevated to our community and government relations specialist. That position is really a primary focus of this critical success factor. So Lindsay and I have had many conversations about how we engage with the community, how we meet them where they are, and providing really a channel and an avenue for not only feedback. We talk a lot about feedback, but I think dialogue, communication, hearing from people on what really those challenges are. And I think you've heard some of that play out here today. Just to kind of build off of a number of different elements that were tools that we're advancing around strategic relationships. You can see here our Tahoe website. I did debut this for you last year. We use this as a communication tool moving forward. We did, with the help of our PIO's office, put together a monthly newsletter in addition to the District 5 newsletter to really dig into the details on some of these projects. We are advancing a number of working groups. You can see on this slide, this is a picture of the working group that we put together around the Tahoe City Fire Station. This is in the fire station, actually, as we were engaging around that effort. You heard about the STR Advisory Working Group. And then another one we're working on with Rebecca Tabor's team, Parking Management. This is a program, as you've heard, that's moving forward. And so we're really trying to, again, coordinate and collaborate with community members as we roll through projects, as we develop them, and not necessarily always on the back end. So housing. Housing seems to be in every hour of my everyday conversations around here, so definitely a focus, so a primary connection here. There's really no silver bullet to this housing issue, but I can be proud of the work that we're doing here, and you can be proud of the work that we're doing here to really innovate different ideas and our partnerships in the region. So I'll just mention a few here. Dollar Creek Crossing Project, that's our capital project we're working on Dollar Hill. There's other initiatives like workforce housing, the lease to locals, and then also working with TRPA on code and code priorities around housing. I'll mention our partners. Some of those you've heard from today, the Tahoe Truckee Workforce Housing Agency. That is an agency that we are a member of, and I sit as your representative on that agency. The Housing Hub, which is a new organization. You heard from Aaron Casey earlier today, so the Housing Hub helping us in this space. And a number of different other partners, the Community Foundation, Mountain Housing Council, to name a few. So some success stories. I'm going to just kind of slow down here and pause. You can see a picture on this slide of DJ Ewan and his family. DJ and his wife, Lachelle, live in our community. They work in our community, and they were thankful to receive funding through the Workforce Housing Preservation Program to purchase a home. So some really great success stories. As you know, this program provides funding in exchange for a deed restriction. So keeping that property, keeping that house or that unit into perpetuity for local workers in our region. You'll also see here a graphic on the Lease to Locals program. This is another incentive program that we have. As I've mentioned, this program's been in effect for about 18 months. We have housed 158 local workers in our community. This is a rental assistance program, so not a for purchase, but a for rent assistance program. And then a picture here at the top of Meadowview Place that was under construction at the time. It's now completed. 56 units there of lower income residential units in the region. So a lot of great work in this space. Public serving infrastructure. So this slide wasn't big enough. I summarized sort of our top priorities here, but infrastructure's really key to, I think, some of the quality of life that we have here in the region. We've talked a little bit about the TOT, that 2% special TOT around capital infrastructure in the region. And so that has supported a number of these different initiatives that we've talked about already today, the Snow Museum. You talked about the Cabin Creek Biomass Project, really an innovative project in our region, and so on, and so on, and so on. So a lot of great projects here around this critical success factor. What's not shown here on this list is the Tahoe City Fire Station, as I mentioned. And so I wanted to just pause, give you a brief update on the current events of the Tahoe City Fire Station. As you know, your board entered into a non-exclusive agreement to entertain a proposal from the Climate and Wildfire Institute for redevelopment and reuse of the current structure, the current fire station. CWI has informed us that they are unable to provide us with that proposal at this time. They are under going a strategic plan themselves and really looking at where they need to put their priorities. They're obviously tied to some of this budget conversation as well at the state level. So, their executive director, Caroline Godkin, and I had a really great conversation around where they are at. We thanked each other for the engagement. I will mention that CWI did have a benefit to us through this process, because they provide us sort of that catalyst voice to re-engage with the fire station. We are continuing to work with stakeholders and work on some potential other options to move forward on that project. As I mentioned before, Bill Mueller, Jerry Azevedo from ICS, they are helping us with defining all of our properties within the region and how we best use those properties moving forward. So the fire station's part of that effort, a much bigger effort than just the fire station, but we are in the middle of it, continue to move forward. We do recognize that any redevelopment on that fire station property will take, I will just go say, millions of dollars of reinvestment on that property. And so we want to be thoughtful. We want to make sure any proposal that comes back does have a financial feasibility analysis with it. So I talked a little bit about, I think, all these projects, just to highlight a few. The corridor, alternative transportation or corridor improvements on 89 to 67 is a major priority for us. TART Connect, as you can see on the screen, funded through TOT and some funding from NTCA. So a lot of transportation initiatives in this critical success factor, as well as trails. Our educational and cultural opportunities. We talked about the Snow Museum, we talked about the fire station, so all really align, as well as you can see here, the Kings Beach Library are all part of this conversation around infrastructure moving forward. So critical success factor 4, outcome-focused economic development, really striving again for this economic balance of economic vitality, stewardship, and community support in our region. Our staff are continuing to look for opportunities to incentivize our redevelopment in our town centers. I'll talk a little bit about town centers, but supporting our local businesses and through a number of different initiatives, through catalyst projects, specifically around that redevelopment vision for under our Tahoe Basin Area Plan. Town centers, I just have a couple of pictures here. The lower left is Tahoe City, the upper right is Kings Beach. And so you can see here really the support from your board around infrastructure and how that infrastructure is really helping support what we hope to achieve on the private side from an economic development perspective. So I'll jump to critical success factor number 5, so prudent and comprehensive financial planning. I feel like this goes part and parcel with every project that we are talking about. Really ensures long-term financial feasibility. It aligns with the operational and capital needs that support our projects in the region. You heard Tony Karwowski with NTCA talk a little bit about the partnership around TOT and TBID, facilitated through your support, your board support. And so those TOT and TBID dollars really infusing within our community provides us with the opportunity for comprehensive financial planning for the future. And so just want to highlight that partnership and really the importance of that work to really support our projects moving forward. And then jumping to 6, fiscal sustainability of our public services. This is a critical area for your board. The public safety in our area is really a tremendous collaboration. We did have a discussion today about our partnerships related to Truckee Fire, but there's a number of other public safety entities within the region that we collaborate with on a daily basis. Some additional resource support here. We are putting more focus into education around winter preparedness, emergency planning, wildfire preparedness, as well as doing a number of different training events in the region. And then I will just put another plug in for the STR the STR enforcement group here, they are really part and parcel to our safety team. All right, so innovative county services here, integrated county services. So I just want to kind of recycle back to the conversation I had previously regarding our operation and service facilities planning with the fire station. I had mentioned that we are doing a comprehensive analysis of all of the properties that we have here in the Tahoe area, and really looking for building on our strengths, building on the things that we do well, and how we will do them well continuing into the future. So we're looking at things like our operations and how we might consolidate those for various, to align various departments, but also reduce sort of the overall demand that we have on those properties within the region. And then last, but certainly not least, balanced land use planning and environmental stewardship. I'm happy to end on this and put in one more plug into for the TRPA meeting for tomorrow. The Tahoe Basin Area Plan amendments will be considered before the governing board tomorrow. The regional plan, the area plan, and now the destination stewardship plan that you heard about today really sort of complete the circle of land use plan, balanced land use planning and environmental stewardship. So with all the projects, with all the support that we have in the region to really create this balance, we feel like our staff and our priorities are not only aligned with yours, but also aligned with the regional priorities as well. So with that, I will stop for the day. It's been a long day. I really appreciate all of your listening, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Board members, yes, Supervisor Gustafson.
I just want to thank Stephanie and her team. Incredible amount of work we're doing to provide almost municipal services in this area when you look at the variety of projects and programs that we're doing here because of the TOT and TBID funding that we're not doing anywhere in Western County. And I think the complexity of the relationships up here and the collaboration it takes across county lines with across state lines with the state of Nevada. I don't think your team gets enough credit for all the efforts and how hard you're all working to make these programs and projects work. We don't solve things alone up here. We don't solve things alone in general, anywhere in the county, but especially up here where the complexities are just that much more complicated and time-consuming. And so I know you have a long list of projects there. And I looked at, just the infrastructure and some of the things. I don't know how we can do that, and I hope that as county staff, you're able to think about priorities for the community so that we make good progress on something versus not making progress on a lot of things. And I know we're moving forward, but there's such frustration with, say, Dollar Creek. You've heard that. I've heard it. What's it going to take? The fire station, some of those. But we are making great progress in other areas. So how we can help celebrate that and show the dedication you're putting in. It is hugely complex up here and time-consuming, and thank you for all you're doing.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I'll just add. I mean, we don't do that alone in Tahoe. We do that with a tremendous amount of support from Auburn as well. I mean, you mentioned Dollar Creek, the Auburn team that's working on that to help support that. I just have to say kudos to them. The Snow Museum you heard earlier, some of our CEO staff has been picking up a pretty heavy lift on that. So we don't do that alone, but I do really appreciate your recognition of that.
So would you say that it's really uber collaboration?
Or epic.
Just want to make sure.
Okay. I want to thank you so much for your presentation. You are all doing a great job, and I'm happy that you're getting collaboration and cooperation with your counterparts in Auburn.
Absolutely.
Thumbs up. Great job, everybody. Okay.
All right.
Anyone left in the public out there to comment? Anyone online? Okay. Oh, well, good. Okay. Let's hear it.
Caller, go ahead and unmute your mic and give your comments. Thank you. This is Adam Wilson again with the North Tahoe Community Alliance, and I just want to, as one of those collaborative partners, just thank the CEO's office, this board's support, the Board of Supervisors support, and all the effort that the staff, both locally and in Auburn, do. We look forward and continue to enjoy the relationship and the partnership. And while that's a long list, as Cindy just said, and staff has looked at, we are committed to being a collaborative partner and appreciate the partnership going forward. So thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Caller, go ahead and unmute your mic and give your comments.
Hello, everyone. Andrew Ryan here. I was hoping to make it down there and see you all, but busy schedule with trying to get out of town. I wanted to echo some of the other comments and just say this is a great list of critical success factors that the board has set as priorities to give staff direction. And, you know, as a community member, we're seeing some change with how staff is working more closely with the community. There's still more work to go, but I think the arc is on the right direction. I did want to just throw out a couple specific comments related to our challenges with housing up here and note a little bit of research I've been doing, and hopefully it would catch the board's attention to maybe give staff some direction. But I do know we have a couple of open seats within the county that are trying to fill in the housing positions. One thing that's interesting to me is that those seats are spread out between planning and CEO's office. They're not directly housed in a housing department, if you will. And looking at other resort towns, Jackson Hole and places in Colorado, almost places with a fraction of the population that we have, not just in eastern Placer County, but all within the county, they have specific housing departments. So that's a suggestion I'd like to make, is maybe looking at that. And then also continuing that effort with entities like the NTCA, but specifically around small to mid-sized projects and housing incentives for small to mid-sized projects especially. We've been chasing the bigger ones with the hopes that there's some economy of scale there. Maybe that may pan out. We're seeing big numbers in terms of cost per unit in excess of $800,000. It's looking like small projects, 10 to 12 units that screen out, may be able to beat that. So I'd like to see some focus on that. And that's it for now. That's the comment I wanted to make. I wish I was in person, but it'll be next time. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Okay. Well, is there anything to come before this board today? Okay. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming and hanging in there so long.